Hello there guys, this is Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, and today I am here with a review of Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I was reading this for Janeaustenjuly, of course. Jane Austen is a fairly famous author of hysterically satirical novels that very much satirize polite society in her home in England. This particular novel was written in 1803. I don't think it was published until like 1811, but regardless, it's one of Jane Austen's earliest novels. And you can definitely see elements of her later style in this book. Katie from Books and Things and several other booktubers are doing a whole series of videos on Jane Austen in her books, and they're all reading nonfiction about Jane Austen this month, and I just did not have time to fit that in. However, I am very pleased that I got to read this all in one day and watch the 2007 movie free on YouTube. If you want more information about Jane Austen, use the hashtag janeaustenjuly and you will see a ton of author biographical information, and they do a fantastic job explaining who she is and how she writes and some of her themes and stuff like that. But I'm just going to focus more on the novel today and also on the movie from 2007. This is the annotated version of Northanger Abbey, and I definitely enjoyed some of the annotations. Mainly my favorite things were all of the pictures in it. It just had all of these cool pictures of like styles and famous paintings, history, and it has a picture of a mail coach, just helpful stuff like that. A lot of the annotations I just kind of skipped, but the pictures were really helpful, and I did read some of the annotations, particularly near the beginning, and they were very helpful. For instance, telling me about Bath. Bath is the place where people go to meet and get married. That is the setting for a large majority of this novel. Unlike what I expected from the cover and the name, I thought it was going to take place mostly at Northanger Abbey, but that's actually only the second half of the book. But the first half of this book is all about this young teenager named Catherine Morland, who is delightful. She is the heart of this book. She is very young. I think she's the youngest of Jane Austen's heroines, possibly. And her naivete and ignorance is pretty fun and totally relatable. Throughout this book, Austen parodies the type of heroines that were common in Gothic novels, which is those kinds of brilliant women who knew everything and could learn everything very quickly and were just above average on everything. That is very much not Catherine. She's very much a normal teenage girl. And I appreciated that because I was very much a normal teenage girl myself. So young and friendless Catherine goes with some sort of family friends who are rich and rather inattentive. They all go to Bath together. For the first few dances, nothing really happens, and Catherine's kind of disappointed that nothing is happening in this exciting world of Bath. And then the first man who ends up taking an interest in her and dancing with her is Mr. Henry Tilney. And let me tell you, he is a blast. He's definitely part of the fun of this novel. He's very witty, and Catherine is very much not. She just admires him. She falls in love with him instantly. Unfortunately, your first love often does not end up the person that you are married to. And this is what we see happening in this novel, although I'm not going to tell you who ends up with who because that would be spoilers. However, suffice it to say, Catherine does not just get to go ahead and marry Henry Tilney the night after they dance. Problems ensue. There's all kinds of romantic back and forths and unsavory characters. Catherine is just learning a lot of the lessons that a young woman learns. Who are real friends? What does real love look like? Etc. The second half of the book is when Catherine is invited to hang out at Northanger Abbey with some of her friends, and she's very, very excited because Catherine is a reader. As it turns out, she just reads Gothic novels non-stop, especially with her friend Isabel, who just recommends all the new novels to her. And Jane Austen is obviously not opposed to the form of the novel. There are just so many Gothic novels referenced throughout here. It's very fun. You can tell that even though Jane Austen is poking fun at the Gothic novel and the sentimentality and sensibility in Sense and Sensibility, she makes fun of it there as well. She still obviously loves the novel form, and Catherine does as well. She's just always got her nose in a book. Bless her heart. And it does affect her mental state at times, particularly in the second half of the book when she's surrounded by this strange and dark Gothic house. Very mysterious, right? It's almost kind of like what happens in Madame Bovary, where the romance novels really affect Emma Bovary. Same thing kind of with Catherine, only this is much more lighthearted and fun. You can definitely see Jane Austen's satirical genius in this book. However, it did grow a bit tiresome, especially in the second half. Honestly, the plot was a bit tiresome throughout the entire thing because it's based very much on misunderstandings. And while that may be true of her other novels, I think there's just more characters and more subplots in her other novels, and they were also very funny to me, whereas the humor in this one was less funny. I just didn't find it as engaging as her other novels, and I'm sorry for anybody who loves this and this is like their favorite one. It was not my favorite. However, I did love Catherine. Catherine is definitely a new favorite for me. I really enjoyed her as a character and her growth. It was cute. And I'm happy to be able to say that this was the last of Jane Austen's novels that I needed to complete before I could honestly say I have read all of her completed novels. Now let's move on to the movie. The 2007 movie really did a lot to make me enjoy the story of Northanger Abbey a little bit more. It's very, very humorous. What it does is all of Catherine's daydreams in the book about living in a gothic novel and romantic heroes, all the kinds of stuff that teenage girls dream about after reading novels, it really brings that to the forefront in the movie, and it shows her imaginings happening on the screen. Those were all very funny, and I really did enjoy that aspect of the movie. In fact, I really enjoyed the whole movie. However, the movie really went the sexual route, not as in showing people having sex, but as in really, if there were undertones about sexuality in Northanger Abbey, which I'm sure there are, they're over my head, honestly. I just don't tend to catch those kinds of illusions. However, they really brought it to the forefront in the movie, to where Catherine is like dreaming of... nothing is explicit. It's just that sexual preoccupation is very much present in the movie, and I didn't really detect that so much in the novel. So there is a difference there, but honestly, the movie was hilarious, and it definitely brought the book to life for me in a way that I just didn't have when I was reading it so much. I did watch some other booktubers talking about Northanger Abbey this month because I was curious what other people said about it. Emma the Bookish Princess does have a video that explains some of her thoughts on why she likes that. That was Jane Austen Bookish Musings, I think it's called. I also really enjoyed Tilly. Brian of Bookish led me straight to the Northanger Abbey vlogs that Tilly is doing. They're vlogs of Catherine reading The Mysteries of Udolpho, which is one of the gothic books that Catherine is obsessed with in Northanger Abbey. Her vlogs are pretty cute. They definitely bring to life Catherine's character. I also watched a video from Katie at Books and Things. She said she loves this book, but it is near the bottom of her Jane Austen list. One of her favorite Austen characters ever is Isabel, who is Catherine's best friend in this novel. And she said that might have something to do with the actress who... Woo! Hi, Megan! Megan Hanna is calling. Not calling, voxing. We've been reading Mr. Harrison's Confessions. Woo! Where was I? Oh, shucks. Oh yes, Katie. She said she really enjoyed the character of Isabel in the 2007 movie. She enjoyed the actress, and I totally understand why. Carey Mulligan did a fantastic job portraying Isabel. Isabel is definitely not one of my favorite characters. However, I think she is interesting. She's not really belonging to this period very well. She wants to have lots of boyfriends, and that's always an interesting thing to see in a time period like this. I really did enjoy Katie from Books and Things talking about Northanger Abbey and all of the Jane Austen in July videos, so I'm sure you've already seen those if you're watching this, but just in case you haven't, go check out Katie from Books and Things. Also, Claudia from, what is her name? Spinster's Library. Claudia also did a review of Northanger Abbey. She loved it, thought it was more than just a satire, which I completely agree with. Like, the whole first half of it, there's elements of satire, but it's definitely not like when they're at the Northanger Abbey. That's definitely satirical. She particularly seemed to enjoy Austen's defense of the novel form in this book, which is very a good point. I mean, there are some good quotes in here that I totally should have pulled for you. Where she defends the novel as a beautiful thing that shows good character, and I agree. That was very true. This is very, I think the term is meta. She was critiquing and parodying and talking about genres in the story. So if you guys know of any other interpretations of Northanger Abbey, I would love to hear about them. Please share. Please. I want to watch them. I want to hear more about this because I feel like maybe I'm missing something. Like, I just don't really understand why so many people love this one. If I was reading this from another author, I probably would have been like, yeah, it was good, but the ending was tiresome. I'm just being honest here. I'm sorry. I love every other Austen I've ever read. So I was really surprised that I was kind of bored. In just my opinion, it's still brilliant, don't get me wrong. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you gave me a nice thumbs up in the corner there. If you want to see more videos from me, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notifications bell to be notified anytime I make a new video. And I would love to hear your comments below. Did you read anything for Jane Austen July? Do you like Jane Austen? What are your thoughts? Have you read this? Have you seen it? Are there other booktubers who are talking about this? Please tell me all of that down below in the comments. Thanks guys so much. Take care. Bye-bye.